Okay, let's get started. I think we are all set. Welcome all of you here today. My name is Earl. I'm the founder of Techpacker. I'm very glad to have you, all of us, here. We are going to be discussing today about, I'll first introduce about us, about Techpacker, which a lot of you already know, and then we'll jump into updated features. This would take us about 15 minutes. And then we'll talk about what's next, our vision, what you can expect to see on Techpacker later down the year and next, and then we'll jump straight into question and answers. But at any time, please feel free to leave us questions. Of course, we're going to take them all together at Q&A time. But while we are doing this, if you come across any questions, just feel free to add it there. You have a Q&A on your left-hand side. If you see on your screen, there should be a Q&A. Just click there and ask your questions directly from there. Perfect. Let's start with the introduction. First, we are very, very excited that we have recently launched the new look of Techpacker. Right? And this happened because over the years, we have been very much focused on our mission. Our mission has always been to create a world where getting fashion products made is effortless. So how do we do that is focusing on supply chain tasks, all these complicated supply chain tasks, and how we can make them simple and personal to you. So we reimagine the product development, production, and quality control. We noticed that over the years, you have created hundreds and thousands of fashion products using Techpacker. They were all beautiful. However, Techpacker, we learned, was lacking behind. We had to push it forward to match it to the needs that were there, that were presented to us. So we spent some time looking at our mission as well as those great, beautiful products that you made and how we can beautify Techpacker itself. So you would have noticed recently a lot of changes that have come on Techpacker. Our logo has changed. There's a beautiful history behind our logo itself. It's how sketches, materials, measurements, all the other parts combine together. And that's where the inspiration came from for our logo. If you want to read more about it, you would see that on a link on my email of our color combinations, our fonts, and how we have revamped our branding altogether. So that I'll encourage you to go and check that out. Okay, let's move on to the updated features now. So today we're going to be spending 15 minutes on all these new updated features. We'll cover custom sections. We're going to cover the CSV import, export. We are also going to be covering Excel, like copy and pasting from Excel, and towards the end of it, versioning. Let's start with the first one, which is custom sections. So what I've done is, instead of doing it live right now, I've created a video just to make sure that there's no unforeseen errors or things that may happen. So I'll play this video. This is a 5-minute video. Check it out, and then I'll continue with my conversation right after.
Custom sections help you to go beyond sketches, materials, and measurements. This is one of the most popular features that we have now on Techpacker. And what it does is it helps you add multiple other things. Like you can now create and manage costings, you can do your fittings, fit sheets, you can manage quantity breakdowns, you name it. Let me show you some examples. So in this case, in this Techpack that I have, we have sketches, materials, measurements. And now let's just jump straight into looking at some of the examples that I have. So first example I have is this stitch detail colorway. This is a custom section that was created. You have these little annotations, which you are very familiar with. Then we mentioned placement, stitch details, and color codes directly next to it. created one separately for front and back. Same way you can do that. Some other examples that I would like to show you here is, this one is for the denim washes treatment. So description, the placement. This one is for the fit sample. We are going to make a fit sample together, so not to worry on it. A quantity breakdown, you can provide all your sizes, the breakdown, the quantity. And this one is for the print details. And the costing sheets. We're going to do an example of costing sheets as well together. Okay, let's jump right into it. To create a new custom section, you'll go right at the bottom of your page. It'll say new section. Click there. There are some templates that are already available to make your life easy. First one is costing. Then you have fit, some table extensions. You can also create fully customizable custom section. And you can also import it. We'll come to import in our next chapter. So let's look into the costing first. There's a little create button right at the bottom. Click here. And as soon as I create this, it copies all my bills of material. You see like all the bills of material that were added. It copies that from there, and it adds additional 3 columns: consumption, cost per unit, and so on. So let's do one example. The consumption is 2.75 meters. Cost per unit is 2. It automatically calculates your total. You will notice that there's a formula already added here, B1 times C1. So this pretty much works like your Excel sheet. And same here, the total is added. So this gives you a quick idea on how to do costings. You have other options in your table. So there's a table settings right on the right side of it. And here you can name your rows, insert your rows, your columns. You can delete rows, and you have other formatting options available right here. One thing to note is that we do not have delete right now for the sections, but you can always archive them. The reason we don't have the delete at this moment is because we are enhancing it. We had some issues where some of our customers deleted it, and then they wanted us to recover it, so we actually removed delete until we change the flow of it. But you can always archive it, so it wouldn't show up anywhere. Okay, so that's about costing. Now let's add one more fit session. The fit sheet. Before we do that, just keep in mind that you have your sample already set up, and you have already defined your tolerances. These two are important ingredients before you do your fit sample. So in this case, I've already set a sample as medium. To set a sample, it's super easy. Just click on the size, and it will give you an option. Are you sure you want to proceed with this? And then you just confirm. Same with the tolerances. Just make sure that you've added all the tolerances. Let's go down, create a new section. In this case, we'll use this template of fit. Create. Let's call this as our first fit sample. And you would notice that it automatically copies all your point of measurements, your tolerances, the sample. That's why it was important to give tolerances to the sample. And right now it's assuming that your fit sample comes out exactly the same as the sample that you requested, and the differences. Difference is just a formula that's between this and this. So for example, the first fit came out at 11.5. However, our tolerances was 0.125. So it automatically highlights the difference. In this case, it was at 21. Let's say it came at 21.25. It's within the tolerances, so it doesn't highlight the difference. These two columns right at the end measures the differences. You can always hide them too if you don't need them. So, for example, I select this and I can delete this column. So that's also possible directly here. Okay, so this is more on the fit, third fit, as many fit as you like, or as many costings as you like. Table extension simply extends the table. It copies all your rows, and then you can add further columns to it. Fully custom is, it just gives you a blank, and you can add your own things on top of it. Give the names of your columns or add multiple rows. You can do all of that.
Okay. About custom sections. This has been used in so many different ways. We've been seeing our customers utilizing this for managing even quantity breakdowns. They even utilize this for deliveries and things to work together with the teams. So be creative and try this out and let us know if there's any other templates that you would like us to add that would make your life easier. Now let's jump on to the next feature that we added on Techpacker. This one is, I think we're going to discuss about importing and exporting of your data from Excel onto Techpacker.
Import and export of data. At Techpacker, we have always believed in working fast and effectively. So what that means is that once you enter your data, you should be able to reutilize it instead of redoing the same things over and over. That's such a loss of time. And that's one of the major reasons why we have cards, because the whole point of having cards is you can always copy it into your different tech packs. So you don't have to redo if you're utilizing the same button over and over. Just simply drag and drop into your library and use it at other places, or just copy it directly to other tech packs. That's the whole point. And now we took this to the next level, where you should be able to directly import your data if you already have that existing in Excel. Let me show you how that works. So in custom sections, you can actually just directly import your Excel. But one thing you have to do is, in your Excel, save it as your CSV format. So I'll show you this example. I'll choose a file, pick it from, I may have a file CSV that's already available. So this is the file that I already have it available. And I'm going to open it. It gives me an option to give a title. So I'm going to call it extended, imported, measurement. And as I do that, you would see this file is imported directly as CSV. So this is a great way if you already have data existing and you want to include it on your tech packs. So your quality team, if they visit factories, they can create quality reports. They can directly import it on Techpacker as well. So all your data sits together at one place. Same way, you can also export it. So let's say you have already done your costing, and now you want to export this and utilize in other softwares, or just take it out as an Excel and utilize it. So you can export it to CSV, and it would directly export it for you. This would easily open up on Excel. Other ways to import and exporting in your measurements. Right now it already has information here, but let's assume that it was empty. You can directly import your measurements from your CSV as well. Same with your materials. You can directly import it from there. And do you know that you can also copy and paste from your Excel? Let me show you how that is done. So let's say if I add some measurements here, and I have some pre-available, I can now directly copy and paste measurements from my Excel. It automatically copies. The only thing to remember is that you have equal amount of rows, columns, as you have it here in your Excel. So if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it should be 6 here as well. So 3, 4, 5, 6 columns. 4 rows, so I'm only selecting only the 4 copy. In this case, I selected 5. You would notice only 4 copy.
Okay, so that was more on copy and paste, more on bringing data from in and out of Techpacker. If you are already used to using Excel, which most of you were before you came on to Techpacker, but that was inefficient days. So now let's look forward. And the next in line I have for you is, let me jump onto the next one. This is versioning, right? So versioning is another powerful feature which we added, and this was made available for you. Most of you have already started using it, but here's a quick gist of how versioning can be utilized in different scenarios.
Kind of all the important features that we have recently introduced is versioning. And just by its name, what it does is it creates different versions of your tech pack. So let's take for an example, you create a tech pack and you send it over to your manufacturers. Now you have your conversations with them and you realize there's some changes that needs to be made on the tech pack that has to be updated. So once you update that and send it over to your manufacturer, you would first create a new version. And this creates the new version, which you already see there's today's date and time on it. And this would make sure that this version is the most updated one. And maintaining these versions also helps you to any time go back to any of your versions and check what the changes were. So I can switch back to the version that I created on April 23rd, or I can switch back to the version that I created on 21st. You can also share these versions directly from here. So instead of downloading the tech pack and creating an email attaching it, what you can do is enable a public link. And as soon as you do that, it creates a new link, which is here, that you can share directly with your manufacturer. The benefit of doing this is that you don't have to, again, download attachments and add it. Sometimes if you have really heavy files, it doesn't work on the PDF. It doesn't work on the emails. So sending the link would be ideal. And manufacturers doesn't even have to create an account on Techpacker. They can just directly go to this link and it will directly show just like how it's showing you here. And if they need, they can print it directly from here. So this is more on the versioning. This comes really, really handy. So test it out and let us know what you think.
And now we have some tips and tricks for you. Right? And these tips and tricks are designed so that when you're working, like how we can, as I said, our mission was to simplify the supply chain tasks. One of them, what we learned was that as you are doing your, like when you download your PDFs, then you have to attach files on emails and send it to your manufacturer, all that communication that get lost. So one thing that we did was we allowed you to attach files directly on your PDF. How's that possible? How can you attach, let's say, AI files, DXF files, or even Excel files, or any other files on a document itself? So we came out with this amazing solution. You would notice that there is this checkbox here, which you can just checkbox. It says include files. And if I scroll down, it attaches the links directly here, right? And if I click on any of these links, you would notice that that file is downloaded straight away. So this is an AI file and it's downloaded on my computer. The same way you can attach all these files to your different cards. So let's say if you have an embroidery logo that you want to share it with your manufacturer, or a print, or a pattern file, just attach it to your cards under files and comments section, and they would, and then once you print PDF, make sure that you checkbox that you want to include those files, and now those can be included on the PDF. Other thing is we keep receiving these. Okay, other thing is we keep receiving these questions where we were told that sometimes your images doesn't come as optimized. I mean, they're not as crisp. And I'll tell you what happens on Techpacker. So in order to enhance your experience and make it faster so that when you jump between pages, it feels like you're using a native app, like a software, not on the web. What we do is when you upload the images, we optimize them. Right? So we condense them. We find a way to keep the quality of it, but at the same time reduce the size so that your entire experience becomes much faster. However, there are certain times that when you upload images and those images aren't that crisp, when we optimize, it loses the quality. However, what we have done now is given you an option to utilize the high resolution images. So once you checkbox this, it automatically makes sure that it uses the high resolution images or the original images that you uploaded on Techpacker. The only drawback of this is that it would take longer to generate the PDFs. So earlier it was taking, let's say, 1/3 of the time, so it will take 3 times more time and the size of it. But if that's what you need, if that's the requirement, by all means, utilize this high resolution images. By default, it's unchecked. Once you check it, it remembers your selection and makes sure that every time you go, it's high resolution images. Okay, so I think we are towards the end of our session. So we have about 7 minutes left. Let's cover a couple of minutes on what's coming next, our vision, and what you can expect, the new features going forward, and then we'll jump straight into question and answers. Okay, so first in line is libraries. And this is really, really exciting because this opens so many opportunities as we go forward. So you'll notice here that it's just a screenshot. It's not available for you right now. We are still working on it, but just to give you an idea. So in libraries, right now, I see that a lot of you are already using libraries. You love libraries. I receive a lot of comments that how easy library has made their work. But we want to bring library to the next level now. And what that is that you can create your own libraries. So you can have, let's say, a button library where you can input all the buttons together. You can have leather libraries or canvas libraries or sketches that you continuously reuse. So this way, it will be organized better as you work on Techpacker. So this is one major change that you can expect. Next is, again, this is my favorite, which is integrations. So I've always believed that the data should be made available and we should be an open system. Right? What that means is that you should be able to bring data inside Techpacker or take it out of Techpacker. One way we have made it possible, of course, is Excel, but then there's so many other ways to do it. So for example, you're on your Pinterest and you like some designs there, you like some buttons, and you want to bring it onto Techpacker. As you put it in Pinterest, one of your collection, it automatically adds it to the library on Techpacker. So that is all possible through integrations, which we are currently working on. Next is, let's say if you want to bring data out of Techpacker. So you're using Shopify. You've already completed your collection on Techpacker. Now with the click of a button, all that data, including all your style names, descriptions, images, sizes, they all can be now moved onto Shopify. So all this could be possible through integrations. All right, let's move on to the integrations. Of course, you can do it with your other, we want to make this available for more than 500 applications. with Google Sheets, with Xero, with other applications that you use in your day-to-day life. Okay, and third in line is manufacturer view. So we are spending a lot of time understanding how can Techpacker be a platform between you guys, designers, as well as your manufacturers, how we can bring both of you together. For that, we have done a lot of research. We spoke to hundreds of manufacturers. We spoke to many of you who told us that there are certain features that are important for manufacturers. Right? One of them that we are working on is highlighting the difference between the versions. So when you send them the first version and the second version, what are the differences between them? So it automatically highlights. That we already have that in our classic version, but in a new version now we are enhancing that to the next level where you can compare it to any versions. So that will be really handy for your manufacturers. Next is directly commenting on Techpacker. So your manufacturers would be able to comment directly onto the tech packs. So if they have any questions and answers, they can directly ask you there. So they don't have to go to emails. You don't lose the conversation on emails. Third in line is automatic translation. So there are certain countries like China and other parts, once all the merchandisers have to do this manually. All the tech packs they receive, they have to manually do it. We'll provide them a feature where it automatically translates. Of course, it's not going to be 100%, but if it's not, they can always edit it themselves. And finally, notifications. So when a new version is available, they get notified. You don't have to worry about notifying them. When they open a new tech pack, you are notified. So it becomes more of a collaborative approach. Okay, so I think this covers on how we see future holding for Techpacker. Of course, we're super excited as we move forward. Our team is so strong, solid right now, and we are very focused in providing you all the features and support. Please leave your questions here on the left-hand side. I'm going to be sitting together answering these questions. So I'll go over those questions right now together. We have about 3 or 4 minutes remaining for this. So thank you very much. As I said, you can always reach out to us through chat. Our customer success officers will be reaching out to you, asking you about your experiences. So please do not hesitate for that. Thank you so much. Okay, so I have some questions here that I can see in Q&A. One of them is, can we delete a section? As I mentioned before, currently you cannot delete a section. The reason being because the sections are currently very, earlier we allowed delete of sections, and then we realized some of our customers deleted it and they wanted us to recover it for them. This didn't go, it's hard to recover once you delete it. That's why we removed the delete altogether. We are designing a new flow where you can delete a section, but it goes in your trash, and then you can recover it back. So that's why until that feature is available, what we have done is we have removed it for now. Next question I have is, now let's user exports measurement table in export format. That's really neat. Okay, thank you very much. Another question I have is, do you have in plan to delete multiple rows? Yes, we do. Currently, on custom sections, you can delete one by one. But yes, once you be able to select all the rows together, you can delete them as well. So that's within our plans too. Okay, another comment that I have here is, love the whole idea behind cards. Makes life so much easier when it comes to organize or repurpose the TechPack data. It does, it just makes life so much easier. Cards are awesome. That was the whole point of having them as separate units, so you can reutilize them, and that's the core of Techpacker itself. Okay, I think we are off time. I can take 1 or 2 more questions. We already passed 30 minutes. So I don't want to take too much of your time. Okay, but I mean, leave your questions here. We'll reach out to you on through chat or through email and reply you there. So thank you very much again for participating. Thanks. Bye for now.